Welcome back to Vanpocalypse, and today we're going to be removing a heating core and replacing it on this van that has no heat. Talking about a Ford here. This is a 1988 Econoline E150. And the first thing, step one, before we even get into it, is removing the chair. I've already removed it. It took 4 bolts that were in there. So figure that out. Here's the 4 bolts that I had to remove, and I used a breaker bar to get it started, and then just a regular ratchet. Boom, 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 boom. Got them out. So removing the chair will give you room to be able to maneuver, to be able to remove this baby right here. Now, just to note, you have to take a look when you do this job at the 2 hoses that are going to be coming out that are connected to the heating core before you get started, just to see what you're working with. You might have to disconnect those. In my particular case, it was bypassed. So they were both removed. The hoses were removed, and then they were kind of connected to each other to make a loop, and they just bypassed it because obviously the previous owner did that because I assume the heater core was leaking. So those hoses are going to be located right back here. There's some tools that you might need for this project. This is basic stuff. You're definitely going to need a Phillips screwdriver. You're definitely going to need a flathead screwdriver to remove some of the clamps from the hoses. You might also want plenty of options from, there's different sockets, because sometimes the sockets can help too in removing some of the clamps, but definitely going to need, depending on your make and model. But for me, I needed a 5/16. I needed some longer ones, some shorter 5/16. I need a little bit of an adapter here, sometimes extensions, just whatever to get to some of these bolts to get off the cover, which is right here, cover of the heating core. And might need some wrenches too as well. 5/16 wrench to try to get in there. They're not that easy to get to, but I was able to get to them all, mostly though with this tool. This tool might come in handy. This is just a 5/16 nut driver right here, and it did the trick for some of those bolts that I couldn't get to. And also maybe a 5/16 kind of special kind of wrenches that will help you get to some of those. But for the most part, pretty much basic tools. And also to remove the seat, had to have kind of a breaker bar and get to the seat here with a 19mm. So the first step is just to remove this cover. 2 Phillips screws right up here. Okay, one here and one over here. Just remove those screws, and this thing come out of this tab, and that will get the cover off. So once we remove those 2 screws, Phillips screwdriver, it just drops right out. And the next step is to remove this little ground wire right here. So once you remove the cover, you have to remove this little ground wire, and then there's 4 bolts we got to remove on the side of this. That's the secret to getting this cover off. So that's why we had to remove the seat to get to them. One is right here. The second one is up here. Can't really see it, but it's up here at the top. I'm feeling it right now. Then there's going to be one right here. So a little bit further in, you have to kind of remove the dog door to get to it. And then there's one up here you can see. Okay, 4 bolts, and that'll come out, and the heating core will be right behind this door. You can use just a regular socket and ratchet there, find the right size. In my case, it's actually a 9/32 to get this thing out right there. You can see it. So that's as simple as going up here and getting that baby out. All right, so I got that one out. There's the ground. There's like a 5/16 right here on the side. Let's see if I can remove that. Okay, this has got a white at the end with a J. All right, it's coming out. I had to use one of these tools here. I'll show you one of these babies. So there it goes, the J at the end. The next one, you have to go ahead and unclip this here cover here, engine cover in front here, to get to it. So you just unclip that right there like that. It just clips right off. You just push this one back. You might have to unclip the other side as well. So push this one back to give you some room. Okay, it definitely helped out by removing that. At least it helps to get to this one. Let's see, I can go straight in now. The J. And I was able to get to this top one too, a little bit of a longer socket there. I was able to get to this one here as well. Let's go now. And the 4th J right here. Now there it goes. What do we have here? The heating core. The heater core is visible. Nice. I can see here it's had some leaking. Not looking too good there, but we've reached it. Easier said than done, but you can get to those bolts right there. Looks like same size here, will fit right in there. This is just going to take that one right out. It's also a J. Now down in here, this little piece comes out. Piece goes right in there. A retainer. Trying to get it loose here. It's in there pretty good. There it comes out. Got it, right? You can see it. By the way, it's the, I mean, the other side, I'll show you. I'm working on the AC as well, but see, those have been already cut off. There's 2 pipes coming out, 2 hoses. You can see one here and one down there, but they've already been cut. There's nothing there, so I had to yank really hard on the other side and I got it out. This thing just fell out here. This thing, the reason it wouldn't go through is this was too thick, and it was on there real good. I yanked it through the other side. And what do we have here? A freaking heater core. So this is really nasty up in here. Okay, here's the old one, and I just ordered a new one. Halfway decent. Oh yeah, it's got a new kind of strip here to help put it in. That's awesome. All right, so put some of this foam insulation. I don't really know what I'm doing, but put some of that around it, and then we'll just try to put it in like the way it was and just see how it looks in there. Okay. Right in there nicely. Oh yeah. So the brand new one is in. Now we got to put everything the way it was. And you can see, there they are. So we have a new heater core coming in there. We have to add hoses to it, and then we'll, reroute all the hoses, because right now it's got like a loop in there. So I'm following this hose right here. I think it's going to the water pump. It's coming up here, and it's connected to this. So here's a look at how the hoses should be connected, and you can see that top hose number 2 says upper heater core tube to WP, which is the water pump. So that goes all the way down to the water pump. It does connect to this little diversion piece that sends some other hoses in different directions, but we got to make sure that the top hose goes down, leads to the water pump. And the bottom hose, this just goes straight over to the engine. And I can kind of see it. I'll show you in my vehicle that that's pretty obvious. So I can kind of tell that number 1, it says engine to lower heater core tube. So it goes kind of straight to the engine area. All right. So I haven't connected anything yet, but I disconnected this one here, which goes to the water pump. And then this one here goes down into here. This one goes to the lower. So I'm going to disconnect this and attach this to that lower heater core. So I'm going to disconnect this right here. Got it. Oh, make sure it's on there. The clamp's still on there. That one goes to the lower. So I was able to slip that on to the lower. So that hose right there slips down through here. Then it goes on to the lower. You can't see, there's too much stuff in the way, but you can see it right there. And I still got to tighten it though, but got it on there. Okay, so the upper hose, I think actually probably didn't need to remove that right there from the water pump, but so this actually stays connected to that, goes up here, and then this end goes in the upper hose. So I got to remove this little piece right here, plug this into the upper hose. So I'm kind of using a flathead screwdriver. I got this thing out. So this is going to go in the top hose. Very nice. Popped right in there. And we'll reconnect the water pump hose. Probably didn't have to remove it. Okay, so tighten everything up. And now we can start putting things back together over here. Let's set this back in. Obviously, the little hole goes in there. Just the way we put it, just the way we did it earlier. These hoses in. This thing back up. Hose is hooked up. This thing needs a clamp here, but everything looks good. All right, I started the van. I took it for a little test drive. No leaks or anything like that. And when I turn the heat, oh yes, oh that's hot. The heat is on. Yes, we got heat. Oh, that's hot. Yep, we got heat, baby.